Hey everybody, this is Gregory from Dapp University. So in this video, I want to talk about a cool new platform called Chain, which is empowering developers to build blockchain-based applications powered by smart contracts without really having to write any code or do all the heavy lifting to get things set up and ready to go. It's a platform that's targeted at developers and provides them with a lot of great accessibility and user experience that seem to be missing from a lot of the blockchain development tools out there currently. It's going to allow you to do a lot of point-and-click types of things, so you can get a lot of things for free, like APIs, user interfaces to interact with your smart contract, notifications, and lots of other cool stuff that I'm going to walk you through in this video. Before we do that, be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and click the like button down below. That really helps these videos get found so that more people can learn how to build blockchain technology. In order to use the platform, you'll want to head over to app.simbachain.com, and at this time you can actually request a login by contacting support. So that email is going to be info@simbachain.com. And once you've got that login information, you can click login. And this remembers my email address from the last time I used this. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And now once I've logged in, I've got a dashboard here that shows, some information about my account based on my past activity, like my number of organizations and applications. So you won't see really any figures here the first time you log in. But now I'm going to walk you through everything you need to do in order to start using this platform. First, you want to go to the Management tab. This is where we're going to actually create an organization that will, manage all the smart contracts and the applications and things like that that we'll actually use whenever we create a blockchain-based application with Chain. So I'll click this plus button down here to create a new organization. I've already got one Dapp University organization, so I'll create another one. Let's call it Dapp University 2. All right. And now this organization is going to allow us to organize all of the applications that we'll create with Chain that'll be powered by smart contracts. And a really cool feature that's going to come out soon is the ability to invite other developers to join your organizations with Chain. So, you could simply create an organization and then invite them via email to collaborate with you on the Chain platform. Now that we've created an organization, let's create a smart contract that will actually power the application that we'll create with Chain. So I'm going to go to the smart contract tab here. And the really cool thing about the Chain platform is that it will allow us to create a smart contract without actually writing any code. So you can see a couple panes here. We can see, some point-and-click development tools here, as well as some smart contract code on the side. So basically, this is a smart contract that's generated by this, kind of point-and-click interface here. Essentially, what this smart contract does is it manages assets and transactions. And this might be like a supply chain scenario or something like that. We can see three different assets here, a container, a lock, and a manifest, right? And the kinds of transactions that can be created and associated with each asset. So, for example, a container can be received. It can be, arrived, idle, things like that. We can also check on a lock, and this lock can be locked, unlocked, or tampered, or manifest can be saved, right? So that's a really good example of how you might create a smart contract inside of Chain. We could additionally add assets here if we wanted to. Let's just say a crate, and we'll add that, and we'll add a new transaction. We can create a new transaction. We'll just say loaded. All right. And that would be a crate. We can add a new, function name. We can just say item ID. All right, that could be a string. And we can add more parameters here if we wanted to. We can also choose to reference off-chain file storage, but I'll skip that for now. So now you have a crate that has associated transactions. So we can also see that whenever I did that, this tool created some new source code over here. We can see the crate was added to this assets enum. And the functions were created below. You can also look at this graph feature that will allow you to visualize the relationships between assets and the transactions and the things you can do with them. Like, for example, a container can be marked as received, a lock can be, locked, unlocked, or tampered, manifest can be saved, a container can be marked as arrived. So that's a really cool way of seeing all this data in different ways. And also note that if you, are a coder, and you know how to write smart contracts, you can additionally just edit this smart contract and write the code yourself, or you could paste in your own smart contracts and compile them like this. And we can see that this contract compiled. We've got a few warnings down here, but that's okay. No errors. So that gives you a pretty good idea of everything you can do with this smart contract development tool. I think it's a pretty cool feature of Symbichain. Now, let's save this smart contract so we can actually add it to an application that we'll create. And the application is what's going to allow us to interact with this smart contract and sort of bootstrap our own blockchain-based applications really quickly. And that's the power of Symbichain, is it's going to allow us to do that. So I will click Save, all right? And I'll name this smart contract. We'll say just my contract. I'll call this 2 because I've already done this before. And we'll do it under my newly created organization here, Dapp University 2. Click Save. All right, the contract was saved. The next step is to actually create a wallet that you can use to deploy the application to the blockchain. So you want to click this HD Wallet tab here on the side, and this will create a blockchain wallet for you that's connected to the network that's a lot like MetaMask. So this is a wallet that will be managed by your browser. So Symbichain doesn't store your private keys or any sensitive data like that on their own servers. You'll actually control all this information locally. And if you haven't created a wallet yet, you'll have the prompt to create one. You'll enter a password twice to unlock this wallet. I've already created one, so I'll just put my password in here. I'll click Unlock. Now you can choose the blockchain that you want your wallet to be associated with. If you look at this drop-down menu, here we first have access to a few networks. Rinkeby is a test network, a public test network for Ethereum, and Circle of Life is Symba's own private permission-based network. So I've already chosen Circle of Life here. That's what I'm going to choose, and you can actually click Deposit to go ahead and fund your account with some Ether that you will need in order to deploy the smart contract. And that's going to go to pay for the gas fees required to create the transaction on the network whenever your smart contract is deployed. And I should note while I'm here that there's plans to support more networks coming very soon. In fact, Symbichain is planning to support Stellar blockchain very soon. And also, if you want to add your own blockchain network here, you can contact support at info@symbichain.com to bring your own blockchain. So you can actually, bring your own private permission blockchain or, any public network that you want to support. You can actually reach out to them and try to integrate that into this platform. And you can also bring your own off-chain file storage, which I'll talk more about when we get to that section. Now that we've got, an organization and a smart contract and a wallet, we've got all the pieces that we need in order to actually create an application with Symbichain. So I'll go to this application tab here to create a new one. You can see some of my old applications here. I'll go ahead and create a new one. We'll just call this Dapp University 2. And we'll choose the Dapp University 2 organization and click Create. All right, now it's just started and we can configure this. So let's talk about all the things that you get for free whenever you create an application with Symbichain. And this is, I think, the real power of the platform, the real value add, which is you get a lot of features for free. You get a user interface for your smart contract where you can actually interact with the smart contract, call its functions, things like that. You also get a REST API that will allow you to interact with the smart contract by just calling an API, which you could do from another application without having to really, use any other blockchain tools. If you're developing an iOS app or something like that, you can simply just make REST API calls to the API that's exposed by Symbichain, which makes things easy and really fast. And you can also subscribe to notifications for your smart contract. So anytime something happens inside your smart contract, you could get an email notification or a webhook notification or something like that. So it's a lot of really cool stuff that you get for free, and I'm going to show you all that here in a second. So as we're setting up this application, I'm going to click, Ethereum blockchain, and the network type we'll use Circle of Life because that's what we created our wallet with. And I'll click Continue. And for file system, I'm going to choose IPFS. So currently there's support for IPFS or Ceph. I'm going to just click IPFS by default, and I'm going to leave permissions off. But you can enable permissions for your file system as well. All right. So now I'm going to choose the smart contract we just created, which is my contract 2. And once you get to this step, if you haven't created a contract yet, you could go to this contract wizard, but just beware that you'll lose your progress if you do that. Now I'll click Continue, and I'm going to create the API name. So I'll say Dapp University 2. All right. And you can also make this permission or not as well. I'm just going to leave permissions off for now. And I'll click configure. All right. And it'll ask you to sign this transaction with your Ethereum wallet. This is the Ethereum wallet you created in the previous step. So I'll click unlock. And here's my address, and here's my balance, and here's the network I want to deploy to. Now I will deploy the smart contract, and we'll create a new application. So click deploy, and we'll wait. All right, now the application is deployed. So let's view it. I'll click view. We'll see some basic information about the application here, like the organization, the blockchain type, network, etc., etc. And the first thing I'll do is actually look at the UI that Symbichain gives us for free. We can click this Make Transactions tab up here. We'll need to unlock our wallet in order to make calls to the smart contract. And we can see the list of methods that are exposed on the smart contract. And Symbichain automatically generates these for free based on the kinds of functions that our smart contract responds to. So for example, we can call the departed method. We'll just say asset ID, I'll say 1, click call. All right, and we can see a notification down there that the transaction was signed. And we'll also, we'll say loaded down here. We'll say asset ID 1, click call. All right, so that's a way that we can actually just interact with the smart contract easily and quickly for free with Symbichain. And we can go to this check transactions tab over here that will actually show us a list of transactions that came out of our wallet and and interacted with this application and the smart contract. So now we can see, this was when the application was deployed, and we can see, the departed function was called here, and the loaded function is still pending. So we can just refresh that and see if it's finished. I'll go back to check transactions. And it's still waiting. That's okay. It'll show a transaction hash whenever that's completed, just like the departed function that we called a minute ago. The next really cool thing that we get for free whenever we create this application with Symbichain is an API. It's a public API. So we can just check this link down here, this app API. And this will show us a REST API that was automatically generated based on the methods or the functions that were created inside of the smart contract. Okay, we can see like departed, idle, tampered. We can get and post both of these things, and we can see all kinds of info about our API, including the URL up here, just api.symbichain.com. We can see the name of the API that we created whenever we created the application. All right, and you can authorize the API. I'll show you how to create an API key here in a minute. But this is really cool, and this is something you could just do to plug and play into like any kind of web application or mobile application or anything you could think of where you might want to interact with the blockchain and use a smart contract without having to overcome that learning curve of creating all the blockchain infrastructure yourself. And you can manage your API keys by going to the API key tab here and just generate a new key. So we'll call this Dapp University 2. And we'll generate a key for that API. All right. And you'll see the list of that here. And you can use this in order to authenticate with your API so that you're not just leaving this public. And also a quick note, they have a configuration API that you can use in order to interact with your Symbichain account, like see all your applications, check on the contract deployment, things like that. And the last thing I want to show you about the applications inside of Symbichain is that you can actually subscribe to notifications, which is pretty cool. So you can, register a new notification like this. Basically, this is going to allow you to get a notification anytime something happens inside your smart contract. So I can click the application. We'll say, Dapp University 2, and I'll click continue. And I'll say notification type. You can choose an email notification or a webhook. If you, choose email, basically you'll just provide an email address. I'll just say gregory@dappuniversity.com. All right, subscribe. All right. All right, now we've subscribed to email notifications for the events inside our smart contract. We can also choose webhook if you want to, and that would allow you to subscribe to webhook notifications inside your own application to listen for events from your smart contract. And that's it, guys. That's an overview of how to use Symbichain, the blockchain as a service platform that allows you to create these smart contracts fast and bootstrap applications so that you can leverage the power of the blockchain. So be sure to visit app.symbichain.com, and you can also contact info@symbichain.com in order to sign up, get a login, request support for other blockchains, and things like that. And SymbiChain's a great company who's, listening to users, wants user feedback, wants to improve their platform. So they'd love to hear from you all. And you can also check out SymbiChain's YouTube channel for more comprehensive tutorials on how to use their platform. And they'll be rolling out more of those in the future. So I hope you all like this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and click the like button down below. That really helps these videos get found so that more people can learn how to build blockchain technology. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.